Welcome back, everyone. In today's Explainer, we are diving into a truly fascinating piece of golf history. We live in an era of golf right now where technology just seems to reshape absolutely everything. We've got launch monitors analyzing every single millimeter of a swing, incredibly advanced equipment, and golf balls that simply fly way farther than anyone a few decades ago could have ever imagined. But today, we're going to hit the pause button on all that modern noise. We're looking back at a true visionary of the game, a man who didn't rely on massive earth-moving machinery or crazy modern analytics. We're wrapping up our deep dive into Harry Colt, the legendary architect of natural harmony, and we're going to look closely at his enduring legacy.
So, before we leave Harry Colt's fairways entirely, we really have to pose a central mystery here. Why does an architect who finished his absolute best work more than a century ago continue influencing golf today? It's wild to think about. In a sport that is modernized in almost every single conceivable way, how is it that a guy from the early 1900s still holds so much sway over how courses are designed and revered right now?
Well, the answer is actually found right in Colt's own words. He said, "The land already knows where the golf course belongs. The architect's responsibility is simply to discover it." And that right there, that is his brilliant guiding philosophy. His secret wasn't about imposing his own will on nature. His secret was literally just letting nature lead the way. He didn't force a design onto the earth. He walked the property, he observed, and he discovered the course that was, already hiding out there in the natural ridges and valleys.
Okay, let's jump right into our first core concept, the timeless architect, and how he focused on building genuine relationships with the land.
The simple truth about Colt's enduring relevance is just this: nature never goes out of style. Some architects, they just build golf courses, basically laying down a playing field and calling it a day. But Harry Colt, he built relationships between the golfer and the landscape itself. Think about it. Equipment changes constantly. Golf balls travel much, much farther today, and technology has completely reshaped the modern game. But beautiful landscapes, they remain entirely timeless. Every single fairway Colt designed encouraged observation. Every approach shot invited thoughtful decision-making, and every green appeared to belong exactly where nature intended. To him, golf wasn't just played upon the landscape, it actually became part of the landscape. Which brings us to our next section, the art of restraint, and his absolute pursuit of quiet elegance over mere spectacle. This philosophy perfectly contrasts two very different mentalities. On one side, you have modern golf architecture, which often celebrates these huge, dramatic visuals. Designers want players to stop dead in their tracks and say, "Wow, what an incredible bunker," or "Look at that massive water feature." They really want to shock and awe you. But on the flip side, Harry Colt celebrated restraint. He firmly believed that the absolute highest compliment a golfer could offer wasn't praising some artificial feature. No, the best compliment was walking off the 18th green and saying, "Wow, this course feels as though it has always been here." He sought out a landscape that felt inevitable. Nothing forced, nothing artificial, just pure, quiet elegance. And because of that amazing restraint, we arrive at a really profound distinction. Many golf courses age, but Harry Colt's courses mature. Really think about that for a second. When a course relies heavily on artificial tricks or whatever the modern trend is at the time, it ages, it gets outdated. But Colt's designs welcome time rather than fighting it. As the decades pass, the trees on his courses actually become more majestic. The natural heather grows richer. The contours become even more stunning. Great architecture doesn't become outdated, it becomes timeless.
Now, let's explore another totally crucial element of his design philosophy, built for the walk, and understanding the rhythm of the game.
Honestly, perhaps no architect better understood golf as a physical walking game than Harry Colt. In one of his designs, every transition between holes just feels comfortable. You're never trekking a mile through the woods just to find the next tee box. Every single hole introduces a fresh strategic challenge entirely naturally, and every step of the journey reveals another beautiful view that organically unfolds right in front of you. Long before we all had modern fitness trackers buzzing on our wrists encouraging us to get our steps in, Harry Colt was already designing for the human walking journey, celebrating the simple, everyday pleasure of moving naturally through a gorgeous landscape.
And, this natural rhythm and restraint didn't just delight the amateur golfers. It profoundly influenced his peers. Let's take a look at influencing the greats and Colt's quiet legacy.
Every generation produces talented architects, for sure, but only a select few actually change the game of golf forever. You've got old Tom Morris, who taught architects to respect nature. C.B. Macdonald brought strategic architecture over to America. Seth Rayner refined those ideas with just remarkable precision. Donald Ross mastered subtle strategy. Alistair Mackenzie blended pure artistry with imagination, and A.W. Tillinghast gave us that championship drama. But Harry Colt's core contribution? It was reminding them all that nature should always have the final word. That contribution is just completely unique among the absolute giants of the game.
And man, that unique contribution has incredible staying power today. Even though Colt rarely ever sought out the spotlight for himself, so many of golf's greatest architects quietly studied his work. Alistair Mackenzie totally admired Colt's ability to blend strategy with beauty, Charles Allison carried his philosophy all throughout the British Empire, and John Morrison further refined those ideas. And just look at the modern giants we have today: Tom Doak, Gil Hance, Bill Coore, and Ben Crenshaw. These are quite literally the most sought-after architects living today, and they continually speak about allowing the land to guide their designs. Echoes of Colt's work on over 300 courses worldwide are still inspiring these modern masters.
Because his work is so foundational, there is actually a massive, ongoing effort today to protect it. Let's look at preserving a natural masterpiece and rediscovering his intentions. Across Britain and well beyond, restoration architects aren't trying to modernize Colt's courses at all. Actually, they're working meticulously to rediscover and restore his exact original intentions. To pull this off, they use a super rigorous 4-step process. Step 1, they study historic photographs. Step 2, they carefully analyze his original drawings. Step 3 involves reviewing early aerial images. And Step 4 is decoding his old architectural notes. By doing all of this, today's experts can perfectly restore the original bunker lines, the green shapes, and the exact fairway contours. It's a massive, massive effort, but it demonstrates one very clear fact: truly great architecture deserves preservation.
So the big question is, where can you actually go to see this preserved greatness in person? Let's move to Walk These Fairways and experiencing the legacy for yourself.
Because if you truly want to understand Colt, you literally have to walk his grounds. There are some specific, absolutely legendary courses where you can still experience his enduring legacy today. You've got Sunningdale's new course in England, which just beautifully rolls through glorious heathland. There's Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland, where you can actually feel the heavy Atlantic wind. Royal Liverpool at High Lake, the famous West Course at Wentworth. And over in Canada, you've got the Hamilton Golf and Country Club. Every single golfer who pauses on one of these fairways, watching the sunlight dance across those ancient pines, is experiencing something far greater than just a sports venue. They are experiencing Colt's unyielding vision of harmony.
At the end of the day, the true measure of an architect isn't just a tally of how many courses bear their name. His greatest creation is a philosophy that continues shaping golf throughout the entire world. His legacy shows up whenever a modern designer chooses to preserve a natural ridge instead of just bringing in a bulldozer. It appears whenever a fairway seamlessly follows the land instead of awkwardly forcing its way through it. He trusted nature way more than machinery, and it shows.
Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative question to leave you with today. Moving forward, will we continue to value natural harmony over modern spectacle? As technology and machinery make it easier than ever to just completely manufacture a landscape from scratch, will we remember Harry Colt's amazing lesson that the finest courses never compete with their surroundings, but instead actually belong to them? It is definitely something to think about the next time you tee it up. And hey, speaking of incredible golf visionaries, you absolutely won't want to miss our next explainer. We are moving right along to hole number 8 to look at Perry Maxwell, the master of natural greens, exploring his fascinating roots in Oklahoma and his incredible work at Southern Hills. Until then, keep learning and keep exploring.